Hello, everyone. So welcome to the live stream about volunteering. So I'm here with Heather from Volunteer Edinburgh. So hi, Heather. Thank you for coming. And yeah, we're just going to have a quick chat about the volunteering opportunities that are available at the moment to students, what kind of volunteering you can do during COVID, and also the whole idea around volunteering, why should you volunteer? Why volunteering makes you feel good? I also have quite a lot of experience of volunteering too, so I'm happy to talk about this, something that I'm quite passionate about. So yeah, Heather, could you tell us a little bit? So obviously you're here from Volunteer Edinburgh. Can you tell us a bit how the organization works and how people can get involved in volunteering through Volunteer Edinburgh?
Yeah, Volunteer Edinburgh has been going for a large number of years throughout Edinburgh. We're quite innovative in what we do and how we offer opportunities. So we have an office in Leith Walk, which isn't open at the moment, but everything is on our website. So you can look at the website, which is volunteeredinburgh.org.uk. And there we have a lot of opportunities. I think at the moment there's about 350 live opportunities. What we try to, the main focus of volunteering is that it's a choice. People can volunteer, and it's about using your time, and it's about making sure that everything that you do is valuable to you, but also to the organisation. And those are probably the key things. What we feel is that volunteering enhances your life, but it also enhances the life of everybody else around you. So it's a win-win on a number of levels, really. So yeah, volunteering is just a benefit. I've been volunteering for a large number of years. I think once you start volunteering, you kind of don't go away from it. It's just becomes part of the blood, I think. So yeah.
That's interesting. No, that's true what you mean. And I think, throughout someone's lifetime, there's so many different types of volunteering that one can do. And I think sometimes we don't necessarily realize that something we're doing is classed as volunteering. Because I have this feeling that a lot of people, well, including myself sometimes, we have this sort of very predefined idea of what volunteering is. Sort of like volunteering at a charity shop or helping at a food bank. But then there's so many other things that can be volunteering, for example, things that are done from home now during the pandemic too. So I think that's really interesting.
I think you're very right. I mean, there's a wide remit for volunteering. I think currently, the most important thing that anybody can do is to think local and act local, and to maybe help your neighbour, to help and just check that the people round about you are actually safe. Just to ensure that your neighbour if they need milk, you can get milk for them because you're a little bit more fit. The thing we've discovered, over the last year is that people struggle with taking their rubbish out to the street bins. That happens quite a lot. Becomes quite difficult for people, elderly people living on the top floor. They get quite sort of anxious about the fact that they have got rubbish and it needs to go out to the bin. So we've had quite a lot of requests around things like that. We have a lady that was on the phone this morning and she just wanted a few things from the supermarket, like oat cakes and grapes or something. So sometimes people only need a little. But I think that also means that they're seeing a friendly face, which is vitally important, actually, so that people are feeling that they have a bit of a connection currently. At Volunteer Edinburgh, we have a number of teams. We have an employability team, so they help people who are using volunteering as a stepping stone into employment. So Christine and Joanna, they help with sort of CVs and offer advice and do Zoom calls. So again, everything is directed from our website, but you can speak to them. And then on top of that,
that's fine. Oh, you've muted yourself. Oh, you're on mute right now, Heather.
So sorry.
That's fine.
My dog is very excited as soon as somebody comes to the door. So I'm so sorry. It just goes to show we're all working from home.
Exactly.
It's the reality.
Don't worry, I understand. I used to have a dog and he would bark all the time. So,
so yeah, he likes to have a say in everything I'm doing. So anyway, at Volunteer Edinburgh, we also have a team that's about health and well-being. So people who feel that they need additional help to go into volunteering, we have a team, Sarah and Nick, who help with that as well. And they're recruiting buddies to help other people to get into volunteering. So although we don't actually we don't actually, well, we do at the moment actually recruit volunteers, but we're more of a conduit to advertise volunteering at Volunteer Edinburgh. So if you're interested, you look at the website, you look at an opportunity, you contact the organisation, and they will generally have a very informal interview with you. And then from that, either recruit you or suggest what's good for you. I think something to remember about volunteering is there's a commitment from the organisation as well as a commitment from you. So some organisations involve quite a lot of training. So say you were to suggest that you go into Samaritans, their training will last for maybe 3 months. It's quite intensive. You know, so you're offering quite a lot to Samaritans, but they are also giving you quite a lot as well. So it's something to bear in mind when you're entering volunteering, is that it's not just turning up. There is often other things as well. And it's good for you. It's good for your future, seriously good for your future, especially for things like references, which maybe after 3-4 months, any volunteer organisation are willing to offer. So,
yeah, I think that's really interesting what you're saying regarding careers development. I think what happens to a lot of students, and what happened to me, is that there's this whole thing where while you're studying, you want to gain work experience, but you're not qualified enough to get a job in that specific field. So you think, well, what can I do that will give me more experience, but that I'll be accepted in? And usually volunteering is the answer. So for example, I studied festival and events management. And so what I did throughout my degree was volunteer at different events, organizing festivals, etc. And that's how I gained most of my experience, because I wouldn't have been able to get a job doing that. So I think that's great also, that Volunteer Edinburgh can help people, you know, with CVs and sort of using volunteering for their future career. I think that's fantastic.
I mean, for 3 years, we ran Festival City Volunteers, which were 100 people across Edinburgh helping, mainly to help people who were coming to the city, didn't know the city, and to navigate Edinburgh and to get to events. So, I mean, a lot of the work we do is collaborative, either with organisations or the NHS or different other third sector organisations as well. So yes, it's very interesting. So, and it opens doors, allows you to test something. You know, if you're volunteering in a garden, you might think, oh, I wouldn't want to do that, but you learn other things from doing that, and you connect with different people. So, you know, I think you've got to remember that it's not just about there's all sorts of underlying benefits from it as well. So
yeah, no, exactly. I think that's one of the things a lot of people look for too, is, you know, that contact with other people and, you know, meeting like-minded people too. You know, if you're volunteering for a cause that you care about, well, you'll also find people volunteering there that care about the same thing, which might not be possible in other things that one does. So I think that's really interesting too. But I think that sort of brings us to, obviously now with COVID, it's a lot more difficult to meet people and to make these connections. So I was wondering what type of volunteerings one can do during lockdown at this moment, and if you can give us some examples that Volunteer Edinburgh can offer.
Yeah, I mean, there is the things that can certainly be done from home. I'll just share the screen and you can see a couple of opportunities that we had. I think this is one. Hopefully it'll work.
Let's see.
We'll see. Can you see it?
No, I can't yet.
Oh, oh, there we go. Is that it? No.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
So no, that's me again.
Yeah, you just need to put it. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect.
Yeah. So this is our general page for volunteering. So you go into this is Volunteer Edinburgh, our logo, and in here this is demonstrating the opportunity. This is a food donations volunteer. This is working with street work. And looking at, it tells you where, this is actually quite interesting actually. Street work deal a lot with the homeless people, but this is about getting people to deliver food as well, food donations and managing that as well. So across the mission and across Edinburgh. So if you wanted to inquire, you would go into this area here, you want to inquire, and then it would take you to the information. I think I should be able to, and then you put your information in here, and then from that you submit it, and they will come back to you and let you know what's available. So it's quite straightforward, really. Gives you an idea. They're based in Southbridge, and you'd be working for Street Work, which is a homeless organisation. If we look at Volunteer Edinburgh as a whole, can you see this?
Yeah, we're on the Google page right now.
Yeah, so this is our main page, and I think under COVID it tells you what you can see. So you would just go, I want to volunteer, and here go search for opportunities, or you can use the hot list, and here it tells you there's 350 opportunities. So here's one: mentoring for adults, accommodation hub manager, that's for COP26, which is an environmental project. So that's happening in Glasgow, and they're recruiting. SIT are doing helpline on the phone for people to be able to use their IT equipment. Let me just check. I'll go back into the hot list actually, and you can see what other ones we've got which are new. So we've got staff that put these up all the time. So things like trustees, people know how as an organisation that help young people as well and helping their journey through life. So that's something else, which obviously can be done from home. Fundraising can be done from home. Board members may be less interesting. Now, a mentor with Project Scotland. Project Scotland is an opportunity for young people as well, which is quite a good organisation, Project Scotland. I'm just having a look to see. Oh, here's an interesting thing. Gig Buddies, which is to accompany people with learning disabilities so that you have things in common. And that's about, it could be music, theatre, sport. So you could go along to that and just share. A website developer for Prestonfield Neighbourhood District, which is near Cameron Toll. So there you go. Admin volunteer, which is in Love Gorgie, which is down at Gorgie Road, which is quite interesting. That's where the farm is.
Oh, Gorgie Farm. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So they need an admin volunteer. So these are all current. So I'll come back to me and you get to see me again, I think, if I stop sharing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it seems like there are quite a lot of opportunities there. I think a lot of people might think that now with the pandemic that volunteering opportunities have drastically reduced, but it seems like a lot of them have sort of just moved online instead. So that's great.
I mean, there's also one with the NHS. If anybody's looking at the health industry, there's volunteering meet and greet with the NHS as well. Okay. So that's another opportunity that people might like to look at. I think what I would say about volunteering is it is about commitment a little bit as well. So I think if you could think about giving your time for maybe 6 months, I think, but we're talking about 2 hours a week or something, not, 5 days a week.
Well, it depends.
And it's all fun. So there you go.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess there's a lot of opportunities to volunteering to help, with COVID, maybe in different ways. So
that is a little bit, I think that, I think if you can help locally, that's quite good. I think some of the stuff at home will be COVID related, but most of it's just the organisations running as normal.
Okay.
but having to just adapt because of what's happening currently. If people are really wanting sort of, I think it's hard to just say, we have a project that is helping with volunteers, but we've had to recruit everybody, interview everybody, take references, do training, do health and safety and everything. So, again, we've got a bank of volunteers that are assisting in that kind of area. But I think, yes, and we don't know what's going to happen at the end. Charity shops will probably be filled with donations and desperate for volunteers. We don't know, but it depends on what the conditions are. So.
Okay, no, that's interesting. And so now I would like to talk a little bit more about sort of the reasons why people choose to volunteer. Maybe you're like in your job, from talking to different volunteers, what would you say are the main motivations for getting engaged in that way?
I think a lot of people want to give to fellow citizens. I think a lot of people have time and they want to use it wisely. Currently, a lot of the volunteers are maybe on furlough and have more time than they've ever had before, so they want to get involved. Or sometimes they want to learn new skills. People might want to learn what they can do. Let's try a bit of something different. And that's a really nice thing to do, I think. It's about giving time and energy as well, obviously. So, a lot of different reasons. If you're up to the age of 26, you can get what's called a Saltire Award if you're living in Scotland. So that's a benefit from volunteering. Young people are doing it for Duke of Edinburgh, gold or silver. But again, those are John Muir Trust have opportunities as well, on the outdoors. So it can sometimes be to gain recognition through that process.
Okay.
And a lot of people do it to meet new people. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that all pretty much makes sense. And I think, again, a lot of times it's a mix of all those things. You want to develop new skills and also meet new people, and also, sort of work towards a different hobby. I think what's great with volunteering is that when you're a student, because, you're not bound to this 9-to-5 job, and it's sort of more flexible and students have more free time sometimes. I think volunteering is always good, because I saw that on the Volunteer Edinburgh website, you can also put, when your availability is, and then try and find opportunities that are in line with that. So I think it's great that there's something for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I mean, there is something for everybody, outdoors, inside, whatever. There's a huge raft of opportunities and choice. And, we keep everything that's on our website as up to date as we can. We are sometimes reliant on people giving us the information, but, we have a team that's maintaining it all the time. So, yeah. And we also have another team of training, and we also have a team in the office that is Equality and Rights Network, which help with everything around that as well. So, yeah.
Okay. And then I guess this is more or less my last question, really. It's a bit of a vague one, but I always have it in the back of my mind, is what would you say are sort of the common misconceptions or stereotypes that people have about volunteering that are not necessarily true?
I think sometimes people think that they have to give weeks and days and, full days. I think that's probably a misconception. I think a lot of people think that it's something that you can just give and take. So you don't actually have to be committed to. I think people think, but it's just volunteering. But actually, the value of volunteering is far greater. I mean, we've also got a hub at the Royal Edinburgh Hospital. So we have a number of volunteers there, and that's a vital service that we offer. So I think a volunteer does offer a vital service. And I think sometimes that's forgotten. I think sometimes, I think people think it's not for me, but I think actually volunteering is for everybody, to be honest. I think everybody can find something that they would enjoy doing. throughout and get some sort of form of satisfaction from volunteering. So I think it's not just let's pick the first one. We get a lot of phone calls that say, oh, I've got time, I want to volunteer, but we need to then know, what do they want to do? You know, we can't you don't just go to the top of the page and choose that one, you know.
Exactly.
It's about using your time to select something that suits you.
Yeah, exactly. And something, I guess, that the one feels that they're sort of more or less competent to do, or that they'll enjoy, you know, not just anything that they find. So yeah. No, definitely. So I'd recommend to all the students watching to just go to Volunteer Edinburgh and to have a browse on the website and to look at all the opportunities. And again, it's good that it's all, you've got different tabs for different areas of volunteering. If you're interested in, you know, animal rights, or, you know, healthcare, or ending homelessness, I think that's the way it is, right? And you've got different things that you can select. So I thought that was great to sort of narrow it down, because obviously there are so many opportunities out there. So last time I was on the website, I said, you know, well, I'm interested in this, and this, and then it just gives you what you can do. And I think it's definitely worth going through all the different options. And again, because there's things for everyone regarding time as well, and the amount of commitment and time that you put into it too. So
I think there's also things like, you know, homework and helping with homework, helping with IT.
Okay,
Loads of organizations are needing help with social media. You know, young people are experts in that, you know, and things like that. So I think it is really worth, you know, just having a good nosy around and seeing what's right. So.
Yeah. No, and I think when you're saying that with social media too, is I think a lot of people need to remember too that volunteering can be really fun if you're doing something that you enjoy, you know. I mean, I really like Instagram, for example. So if I was to volunteer for an organization to improve their Instagram or to run their social media, you know, that would be fantastic for me. You know, I'd be like, well, it's what I do at my free time anyway, so I might as well.
And you can be creative. Often volunteering allows you, it gives you an open door sometimes to be doing things, and people listen to you and they take on board what you suggest. I mean, many years ago, I had a volunteer that worked with me on a project for older people, and she said, oh, let's have an event. So we created an event, and we had non-alcoholic drinks, and she did the poster and got it all organized and everything. So, you know, innovation is great. You come with the suggestion and we can often say yes, you know. So that's always good as well. So.
No, that's very true, because I think a lot of times as volunteers, we're also sort of looking for that platform to be able to make that event or that thing happen. For example, I'd always wanted to run a clothes swap or item swap event. And this was about 2 years ago, and I was volunteering at this zero waste shop in Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And they had this back room, and I said, well, we were thinking of ideas for events, and obviously I thought, well, you know, this is going to work sort of with the concept and the ethos of the shop. And I said, well, you know, can we have a clothes swap event? I would love to run one. And they said, well, of course, yeah, no problem at all. So it was great for me because I'd always wanted to do that, and it was great for them because they needed an event and someone to run it. So I think that worked really well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we did a fashion show for the elderly in our premises, and it was, you know, supported with by Sainsbury's, and they sort of offered the clothes. They came and did the drinks and things like that. But again, you know, very similar. Let's think, what can we do? You know, there's all sorts of options there. So yeah, it is. And often within the voluntary sector, we're open to suggestions, and we like, you know, new things. So I think that's another opportunity, particularly for young people, is to look at, you know, what can we do? I'd love to try this. So find an organisation that suits and marries up with that, really.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So now that we're talking about this, just after this, I'm going to go on the website and look up things, because now I got inspired from what we were talking about.
It is inspirational, though. I mean, volunteering is, and you know, there's so many wonderful organisations out there doing all sorts of really good stuff.
Yeah, so, and I think also now, you know, in this sort of current climate, a lot of people have sort of wanted to give a bit more and to help the community. I mean, that's sort of what I've noticed around me. There's a bit more sort of solidarity as well. So I think, you know, more people, I don't know if, have you noticed some sort of increase in volunteering or not necessarily?
Well, we've certainly had more people looking at volunteering. You know, the number of people looking at opportunities has definitely increased, because I think people have a bit more time. I think kindness and generosity is something that's maybe come out recently, and I think that's a great thing. You know, if you know, something very positive that has maybe come forward, which is really beneficial for everybody. So, yeah, I think we have to bear all that in mind as well, and just realise that, you know, we are in a society, we are in a community, and we can all help each other.
Exactly. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, let's end on that nice positive note. That was perfect ending. But yeah, no, thank you so much, Heather, for your time and for giving us all of this information. I think it's going to be really valuable for everyone. So yeah, so if you're interested in volunteering, just go to www.volunteeredinburgh.org.uk, and there you'll see all the different options of things that you can do, and it's really straightforward, easy to follow. So yeah, fantastic. Great. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.